I'm really curious about your relationship with Arn, because obviously Arn Anderson means a lot to you guys. When did you first meet him, and how did that relationship develop, and what does Arn mean to you guys?
Man, you want to get me emotional on the show, huh? So it's not just Arn. To answer your question first, we met Arn when we first came up to the main roster. And that's the first time that we met him. And he had watched some of our stuff before, and he was a fan of our stuff, but honestly, I don't think he became a real fan until after he saw us on live events and us working on live events.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he had heard about us and he had seen a few things, but when you're on the road with WWE, you have no time to do anything. So I don't think he ever had an opportunity to watch our matches. But then when he got on the road and watched our house show matches, we'd have great matches with Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. We'd have great matches with Heath Slater and Rhino. We'd have great matches with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, New Day, all these guys, and they were all completely different. And that's when he gained a whole new respect for us. But as far as him meaning something, what he means to us, guys, this is the deciding factor for both me and Cash as far as leaving that company. Professional wrestling means so much to me. It has done some great things for me even before I got a paycheck from it. It kept me from trouble. It kept me safe when I was young. And that sounds very corny, and I apologize, but it did. It kept me out of trouble. And right now, aside from my wife and my daughter, professional wrestling is an entity to me that I absolutely love and respect, and I'll do anything to make sure that the respect for it is always held up. And being able to watch Arn and take things from him and listen to him and learn from him is something that I'll never forget, and it's something that I'll always cherish. But it's not just Arn who I have the most. You too, Jim. Like I told Brian that you're Jim fucking Cornette. I'll come on the show anytime. You can have 10 trees fall down 10 days in a row. It doesn't matter.
I'll come over and cut the trees.
I hope I don't.
Yeah.
Unless you want a lumberjack gimmick. You're the LeDuc brothers now, Joe and Paul.
But we owe you guys so much for what we have now, what we had before. So there's no way that I can put into words what Arn, you, Bobby, Brett, any of Austin, anybody means to us.
Well,
yeah, there's no way to
that, guys. I really do.
There's no way to put a value on it or put it into words. Like, it's legitimately the only reason we are where we are is for guys like you and Arn and Fit and Bobby and Dan and Dennis and all these guys that came before us and have not only like showed us things by like the way they've worked, but taken the time to come to us personally and give us advice or tell us what they think we're doing right or tell us what we could do differently. Like, I can't ever put a value on like that advice and that kind of just investment that all these legends have made into going out of their way without having to do it, just to give us any sort of knowledge that's going to help us become better. Like, I can't ever tell you how much it means to me.
One question, you don't have to name any names. Give me a percentage. What percentage of today's wrestling generation either watches tapes of the classics or asks the veterans for advice and takes it, or both? What percentage?
So I'll tell you a story to answer that. I don't know if I can give you a percentage, but I'll tell you a quick little story. Bash, you remember the time that Ricky Morton came to the PC?
Oh, yeah.
And he was a trainer there. Yeah,
I do.
So Ricky Morton was there as he was a guest trainer, and I walked into the PC one day, and Ricky Morton was by the ring, and everyone was in the building. No one was talking to him. Yeah, by himself. He was at a ring by himself. No one was speaking to him. No one was even just going over and acknowledging him. No one was saying anything. So I went to Matt Bloom and I said, you've got Ricky fucking Morton out by the ring, Hall of Famer, and nobody is talking to him. And at the time, they had a tag team class. They had a class just for the tag teams, and they were in session, and no tag team was talking to him. And And Matt Bloom said, he said, I can't believe it either. He said, if you would like to say something, you have the floor and you can say it. And so they called all the talent and they all came to the floor. And I went off. I said, this is Ricky Morton, the Rock and Roll Express. If you didn't grow up watching wrestling, that's totally fine. But now you're in this business and now you learn who this man is. And I flipped out and I started crying. I lost it and I started crying because I was so upset that and I wasn't sobbing like a little baby.
Yeah.
I was pissed off. I was so mad because this is supposed to be our future of professional wrestling, the future generation of professional wrestling. And no one wants to ask Ricky Morton, the greatest seller of all time, the man who's drawn so much money, more money than anybody in that building will ever draw combined. They don't want to ask him anything about his career or how they can draw the money that he drew. And so that should tell you the percentage of people that actually watch that kind of wrestling.
Yeah, a low percentage. Yeah. Don't get us wrong. There's definitely guys and girls that still watch a ton of stuff and are always asking questions or asking for recommendations. There's a ton, but if you consider the amount of talent under contract at this time, it's a very small percentage.